Hi everyone, Zana Breeze here, and I just wanted to do a little video on vegan survival foods, and it's really just for a bit of fun because I found myself doing this yesterday. There's been quite a cold snap here in the UK at the end of February, and we've had a lot of snow, and I live on a Scottish island where we depend upon the ferries running so that we can get the deliveries from the lorries into the supermarkets and things like that. And so the snow had stopped the travel basically, and so there were no travel links, and people weren't able to get out in their cars the same way. And it got me thinking. I just thought, I was checking my cupboards and I didn't really have that much in, and because I normally do my shopping on a Saturday, so Saturday was only a couple of days away, and I don't generally stock up my cupboards that much, apart from like a lot of condiments and things. So it got me thinking, and I just thought, I live on an island, and oh, that was it. There was a threat of a power cut as well, which would have meant, no lights. And so then I thought, well, what if there was a scenario where there was no gas, there was no electricity, and the deliveries couldn't come to bring food over to the island? And it was like, well, what kind of foods would I really need to have? Because being vegan as well, and I was a raw vegan for like 13 years as well, so I had quite a lot of foods that came to mind, and so I wrote down this list, and I just thought I'd share it with you for a bit of fun. So if you do live out in the remote areas, maybe it's something that might be of interest to you, especially if you're vegan as well. And I'll tell you why these particular foods are on my list as well. So basically, the first three foods that I've got down, and this isn't by importance that I've written them down, it's just the first three foods on the list. I've got dry food, nuts, and oats and cereal. Oats/cereal. So dry food, dry fruit, high in sugar and also high in phosphorus and lots of minerals. So things like raisins, dates, sultanas, figs, prunes, all those are really, really good foods that would make a good survival part of a survival kit. Dried fruits create a lot of warmth because they're high in sugar, and you actually need that, something that's high in carbohydrates in cold weather in particular. And so having a good supply of dried fruits in the cupboard. And then I've got nuts down. So nuts, things like hazelnuts and Brazil nuts and almonds, any type of nuts. So all types of nuts. And these are things, again, that don't require any cooking, so they can just be like chopped up, and maybe even you could mash them together and make like little kind of fudge bowls and things like that. And then I've got oats down, /cereal. So you could add the oats in with the dried fruit and nuts and chop it all up. And, so that could make like a kind of muesli or cereal. And as I say, if you do have electricity, you could blend up a milk or something like that. You could blend up a nut milk or an oat milk. But I'm just going to pretend that we don't have any gas, we don't have any electricity here. So there we are. So first three foods. And then I've got tinned beans. So that could include like, baked beans and peas, mushy peas, tins of mushy peas. And I've got lentils down as well. So you can buy like tins of cooked lentils. So, and I chose these because obviously high in protein. So my list is based on how do we get the most protein. So I'm really looking at how to maximize protein, because in a situation or survival situation, these are the type of foods that would keep you going, that would sustain you, as well as the carbohydrates, but having a good sufficient supply of protein foods. So lots of tinned beans, peas and lentils, chuck them in your larder. And then a source of fat, I've put down coconut fat. So like you can just buy tins of coconut fat and you could have them stored and you can just eat that. Or you could, you know, if you had any cacao powder or something like that, then you could basically make yourself like a little coconut pudding and put the cacao powder in there and any other superfoods that you might be into. So that could make up like a good fat source and can be stored. So coconut butter as well, that includes coconut butter. And then we've got like dried biscuits and crackers, so things like oat cakes and just your favourite crackers, any crackers at all. So it's just like looking at something dried, you know, something dry, crunchy, that you could just snack on. So dried biscuits. And then I've got superfood, which would be like some algae powder or barley grass. If, you know, you had a storage of that in your cupboard, then that would be great. But if you don't, I kind of went with, I think that having the beans and the peas and the lentils are still going to keep that protein level high. And also things like hemp seed. So if you had like whole hemp seed, that's a really good supply of protein as well. But dried algae is very high in protein, and barley grass, so you could add them into things. Or say you had to mash up the nuts and the oats and the dried fruit, then you could obviously add in some of the green powders as well. What else we got? Oh yeah, so imagine that there's, you know, the gas. No, you haven't got any electricity or gas, and you know the food supplies are just what you've got in the house, and so you're going to make like you're going to have some lentils out of a can. So you opened up your can of lentils and put them in a bowl, and you've got to eat them cold because there's no way of heating them unless you've got like a little gas stove and you've got like a ton of gas lighters in your drawer as well, or matches. So that's something I'm going to cover as well. The non-food items. So yeah, the lentils. So what I've put down is chili powder, turmeric and dried garlic powder. So you would be able to add in the dried garlic, which would keep your immune system kind of boosted and is a good antibiotic, and also the chili powder just for general heat, and it's got a whole load of health properties as well. And then I've got turmeric as well as a high antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, so very important. And I would probably add to that dried ginger as well, which I hadn't put in, but dried ginger, chili powder, turmeric and dried garlic I think would be essentials. And then if you add these to the cold foods, if you had to eat the foods cold, then you could stir in these spices and then they would really kind of warm your system on the inside. Obviously a really good supply of water, but then what if the water was cut off, right, as well, or the pipes are frozen or something? So all I can say is that, you know, maybe in advance you've got some water bottles, or what's quite good, you can actually buy a compact water filter, and then maybe you could take it outside somewhere to a fresh stream, if there was like a spring water resource near you, and then you could filter the water and then drink that. Okay, so non-foodie items I've got down, I've got like batteries, so like having batteries in the drawer, and gas lighters and candles. So, you know, it wouldn't be a necessity, but at least you could have some light if you needed it, especially if you had to cook, not cook, but if you had to make food up in the dark. So gas lighters, batteries, and toilet roll, of course. So you want to have some toilet roll stocked up in your attic there. Actually, you know, my ex used to have like all the toilet roll in the attic because he used to kind of think like this and wanted to prepare for worst case scenario, but that was a long time ago. And you know, when we used to watch things like Bear Grylls and stuff. So pet foods, obviously, if you've got pets, cats and dogs, then you want to make sure that you've got like a big, you know, a couple of sacks of dried pet food in your pantry. And so, yeah, the pocket water filter. I think I've really covered everything. Can't really think of anything else. So that's my list. I've been through it all, and so I'll write it in the description, but like dried fruit, nuts, oats, cereals, it could be any boxes of cereals, tinned beans, lots of tinned beans, different types of beans, peas, mushy peas, lentils, all cooked, pre-cooked in tins, and obviously make sure you've got a can opener as well. Chili powder, turmeric, dried garlic, dried ginger, coconut fat, dried algae and barley grass or spirulina, those types of things, dried biscuits and crackers. Batteries, gas lighters, toilet roll, candles, dried pet foods, and a pocket water filter, portable water filter if you have that. So that's it really. That's my vegan survival kit for, you know, like if the weather conditions are such that you can't get out, you can't get to the shops or whatever. And if you found this helpful, please give it a like, and feel free to add your own ideas as well in the comments below, and then we can all learn from each other. So thanks for watching, and stay well and look after yourselves. Bye for now.